Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. You're watching All the Beer No Idea. I am Baz. Right, if you're new to the channel, you may not know that I put a big order in with Trembling Madness a few days ago, and it turned up, if you like, well, it turned up a few days ago. If you do watch the channel, you're going to know about that. But basically, we've got another beer from that order that I put in, and we've got a Belgium ale, and it's from Struise. And this is a bottle of their Pannepot. Don't know if you can see, I do apologise with the lighting. Pannepot Vintage Ale. You can just about see the label there, I'm guessing. It's in a 330ml bottle. It's coming in at a whopping old 10%. This was £4.50 as well. So not cheap, but hopefully, well, you're definitely getting a big beer for this, as in how boozy it is or strength. Hopefully it's going to be a banger as well. So I say, just a quick show of the label again. A little bit different, that actually. I kind of like it. It's a little bit different to what I'm used to with Belgium stuff. There's the crown. It's just a plain gold crown. Now I'm using my funky craft beer glass just because that top side, sort of the top end of this glass, resembles a Belgium beer glass, doesn't it? So we're going to go with that anyway. Been out the fridge all day, popped it in for about 15-20 minutes just to add a little bit of chill to it, but it's not the sort of beer you want necessarily cold. So let's get her in the glass, see what we get. Now it's all going to be new to me pouring in this. I've had a few issues pouring beers in this glass. They've been a bit lively, but I think I've got over the worst of it. Vintage ale. I'm going to call it a quadruple. Probably is a quadruple. I haven't looked up on it. But yeah, beer in a glass. Obviously this bottom bit I'm seeing light come through there, and you can probably see it. It's sort of like a deep dark mahogany sort of colour. No real carbonation going up. Like I say, deep dark mahogany colour. The head has literally gone. There wasn't much there, but it's like what is there is a tan colour. Swilling the beer around the glass, it has that spirit-like look. Alcohol legs, as they like to call it. I don't know if this is actually barrel aged, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it's best we just dive in, give her a sniff, give her a drink, and see what I come up with. So let's give her that sniff. Yeah, it's quadruple territory. This is a quad. Rich, malty. I'm picking up a little bit of a chocolate aroma in there. A little bit of sort of, it's almost, with a little bit of chocolate and there's a little bit of fruitiness in it, it's almost fruit and nut on the nose. Now I don't eat Cadbury's fruit and nut. I'm not a fan of fruit, believe it or not, but it's got that inkling of that aroma. There is a little bit of booziness on the nose, but it does smell really nice. Now I'm going to try and swill it and sort of make it look a little bit more attractive before we dive in. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, at 10%, you're not always going to have a massive head on it anyway. So let's stop waffling. Let's try Struise's Pannepot Vintage Ale. Cheers. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Body on the beer, 10%. I'm not going to say it's massively heavy. It's not massively heavy. But it is, if that makes sense. It's not massively, it is heavy. It's a heavy beer. It's not massively heavy. I always think that first sort of taste of a beer that's big in percentage, you kind of expect a bit more. But it is a heavy beer. Carbonation is virtually non-existent. I mean, this is about as non-existent as I've had in a beer. It is literally the smallest of bubbles you can imagine. Very minimal, and they are just in the background. So it's almost, you would almost say it's flat. But it's not. The bubbles are in there, and that's probably why it's poured like it has a little bit as well. Amazingly smooth. Really, really soft to drink. But the flavours are just popping all the time. This is going to be quite a hard review just because the flavours are evolving in this beer. It's big on malts. It's got a big malty backbone to it. It's rich, a big malty richness. For me, that sort of fruit and nut sort of thing is there. I would say fruity, sort of dark fruit. Again, like sultanas, that sort of thing. That is coming through. Behind that, there is a slight sweetness. That slight chocolate element that starts making you think, hang on, fruit and nut. It's earthy. The earthiness is there as well with the maltiness at the start. Certainly I've drunk half a glass of it, so all the flavours are starting to mix up and come to the front. The very back end of this, there is a massive, I would say, hazelnut sort of kick to this beer. So, like I say, you can see exactly where I'm coming from with what I got on the nose, and it's all coming through in the flavour. You're getting a rich maltiness. Coming in there is a dark fruit sultana sort of currant thing. A little sweet chocolate behind it. It's earthy. Back end is really nutty as well. %. You don't get 10%, but you do get that inkling of a boozy number. I'm going to say you're kind of feeling this as something like a 7% beer. It's not overpowering. It is well hidden, but there is a little bit of booziness in there. It doesn't interfere with drinking the beer. You just know it's there. There's maybe a little bit of warming as well in the chest. Drinks really well. I mean, it's a fantastic beer. It's not one of those you're going to sit there and chuck back. It's really drinkable. Don't get me wrong. It's really drinkable, but it's not. This is not that sort of beer that you'd do that with. I don't even think you could do that with this beer because it's so bold and rich in flavours. But it is a banging beer from Struise. So would I recommend Struise's Pannepot Vintage Ale? I don't know if I called it something different before. I don't think I did. But yeah, Struise's Pannepot Vintage Ale coming in at 10%. It's a put your feet up kind of beer. Sit back and enjoy. Yeah, £4.50, not cheap. Worth the money. So yeah, if you see it and you like your Belgium ales, give it a go. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Feel free to like and share the channel. Like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Doesn't matter if you don't. But keep watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.